Well, you can't tell anything, can you, Marshall? What do you think? You can't tell anything from just looking now. It's pretty quiet. The chickens are still out in their coop. It's chilly. It is chilly today. But we are supposed to get hit here in a couple hours. It's supposed to start. And we're supposed to get anywhere from, it depends on who you listen to, 3 to 6 or 6 to 12 and ice that lasts until Monday afternoon. So we will see. One thing I did notice today though, and you know how they say that nature knows what's going to happen. I saw all kinds of fat little red squirrels outside today gathering, and I usually don't see that many. But they were, oh, hi Cordell. They were out today gathering for sure. So I will give you guys an update later on, and we'll see. You know, I can handle the snow. I do not want that ice. That just stinks. So I've been keeping the girls nice and warm. Their coop is really solid and insulated. So once they go in, they'll be nice and cozy and the wind doesn't blow on them. And I've been feeding them a lot of cracked corn because digesting the cracked corn keeps them warm. Marshall's making snow angel. Yes, he is. He's making snow angel. He loves the snow. So I'll keep you guys updated. I hope you guys are all doing good and you don't get hit with any of this weather, but it's a big part of the United States, I believe, that's going to get it. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here today at Re-Written Vintage Homestead. Happy New Year to all of you. And I hope you've set your goals and you've figured out how you're going to get to those goals like I have. We'll see how it goes, right? We are expecting a big storm, just like a lot of you in the United States today. And it is Sunday here in central Illinois. It's about 1:30. And where I live, it just started snowing. So it's a good day to do some cooking. I've been doing the 3 Rivers Challenge, which is the Pantry Challenge. Every bit counts. So you're looking at what you have in your freezers, your refrigerator, your cupboards, whatever you have, and you're trying to make do with what you have, get it cleaned out so that when your spring bounty starts coming in, you'll have a place to put it. And also too, after all that Christmas spending, it feels good to save a little money, doesn't it? Now I did stock up. Everybody can set their own rules. I had to stock up on meat, vegetables, and fruit because my fruit trees aren't producing yet. I have plenty of vegetables canned, but there's some that I don't grow here, and I don't have any cattle or pigs, but I have plenty of eggs, so I don't need to buy those. In the mornings for breakfast, we usually have, since we have a lot of eggs, we almost always have eggs and some kind of meat, whether that be sausage, bacon, hamburger. Sundays are going to be my splurge day, and hopefully I can not go too crazy on Sundays. But what I thought I'd do with this pantry challenge is to really show you how every bit counts. Not only food, but everything in your home counts. And you need to make it work towards your benefit. Now today we're going to start with an Amish casserole, meat and potato casserole. Very easy to make, wonderful recipe. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to brown a pound of ground beef. And to that, I'm going to add as much onion as you like to taste, and a teaspoon of garlic powder, and salt and pepper to taste. We're just going to brown that and drain it on paper towels and go to step 2. One thing I want you to remember when you're stocking up your pantry for the wintertime is if you have cream of mushroom or cream of celery soup, some kind of meat, and potatoes, and cheese, you've got it made for the winter. You can make so many casseroles out of just those ingredients. So make sure you have cream of mushroom soup, some potatoes, some kind of meat, and you'll be good to go. And cheese if you like cheese. So now I have got my meat draining over here. I've set my oven to 350. I greased an 11 by 7-inch pan, and let's come down and finish it up. Now I'm going to take a can of cream of mushroom soup. And the Amish like cream of mushroom soup too, because it's in a whole lot of their recipes. And I'm going to add a half a cup of stock. And it doesn't matter if it's beef stock, chicken stock, whatever you have. If you don't have any on hand, you guys, go open up a can of chicken noodle soup and use the stock out of that and eat your noodles later. And we're going to add a half a cup of stock. Then we're going to add a quarter of a cup of milk. Let's add some salt and pepper to that to taste. I was watching a woman from Japan cook a stir fry yesterday, and they use white pepper. And so the host of the show asked her, why don't you use black pepper like we do in the United States predominantly? And she said that the Japanese don't like the look of the black specks in their food. Isn't that interesting? All right. So now that I have this all mixed up, we are going to do some layering just like you do when you make scalloped potatoes. So in my pan, I have thinly sliced my potatoes. Put one layer down. And I'm going to take the soup and put a little on the top here. Then I'm going to take our hamburger. That's going to be sprinkled over the top. Any kind of cheese you guys like. If you want to add cheese, you're going to do it now. I had a block of Monterey Jack. So I've been shredding it, and I'm going to add a little bit of that here. This is such a hearty dish to have on a snowy day like today. It will definitely keep you full and warm your tummy. So now that I have that done, I'm just going to repeat my layers. I'm going to add one more layer here of my potatoes. So it's just like you're making lasagna or scalloped potatoes. Before I add the last of the cheese, I'm going to pour my remaining soup mixture on the top. I went ahead and added a little more salt and pepper. I'm going to add my cheese. Ooh, this looks so good. Any kind of cheese works, whatever you have. Now that I have that done, I want to get a piece of aluminum foil. I want to spray the top of that so that it doesn't stick to my cheese. You can also use Crisco, any other kind of olive oil, vegetable oil, whatever you have. And we are going to cover this. And then we're going to put it in our 350-degree oven for an hour and a half to 2 hours because we want those potatoes to be cooked all the way through. I've decided with our Amish meat and potato casserole today, we're going to have my favorite corn side dish, so easy, and it's called Corn is King. And we're going to whip it up real quick, so let's come on down. Marshall's thirsty, so he's going to lap up some water here. But basically, you're going to take 2 cans of corn. You're going to drain them. It doesn't matter if it's cream-style corn. Doesn't matter if it's whole kernel corn. If it's fresh corn that you grew yourself. Or if it's 1 can of each. It does not matter. And to that, we're going to add 1/2 cup of melted butter. 1 box of Jiffy cornbread mix, and you guys, I've tried this several ways. I've tried it with generic, and it just does not taste as good. So I do recommend the Jiffy, and it's still only about 50 cents a box, so it's not going to break the bank. And then you're going to add 1 cup of sour cream. I had some left over here in the fridge, so I'm just going to use it all. If you want to, you can also add cheddar cheese shredded. But since I put cheese in my casserole, I don't want to add it to my corn. So I'm just going to have the flavor of corn here. And this will also cook in a 350-degree oven. So it needs to cook for 45 minutes. So when my potatoes have 45 minutes left on the clock, I will pop these in. I have a 2-quart pan here that I greased. As soon as I get this stirred up, we'll put it in. This all spread in my 2-quart grease pan. When I have 45 minutes left on the clock of my potatoes, I'm going to pop this in. So I'll have a hearty dish, a hearty side dish. May whip up a dessert yet still, so hang in there till the end. And we'll see how I'm feeling. But now it's time to go watch some football. So I did decide I'm going to make a little bit of a dessert to go with this, but I just took my casserole out of the oven, and boy, the potatoes are nice and tender, and it smells terrific. Got my corn casserole out of the oven too. It turns out perfect every time. So now I have 4 tablespoons of butter that I've let caramelize and melt here a little bit. And I had some apples in the refrigerator. So I peeled those and cored those. And I'm just throwing them in the butter here. And now to these, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of brown sugar. And about a tablespoon of cinnamon. And a dash, I got to reach over it here, of salt. So I'm just going to let those apples soak all of this in. And cook for a few minutes, and then we'll come back. So once you have those boiling and cooking fairly well, you're going to cover them and let them cook for about 15 minutes. It is coming down good now. Mostly though, it's cold and windy, really windy. But it's coming down, and I'm sure the girls have already gone in their coop, so I'm going to go put them away for the night. We had a wonderful meal. We had our Amish meat and potatoes casserole and fried apples and Corn is King casserole. So my belly is nice and warm and full, but I got to check on my girls and make sure they made it in okay. Little run's got some snow in it. Hope it doesn't blow in here too bad. So we ended up with about maybe an inch and a half of snow. It's not terrible. it got really windy and cold, and work was canceled for today. And so, what sounds better than some soup? So, I had all this stuff on hand. I have broth left over from green beans. I made some green beans this week for the Every Bit Counts challenge, and they turned out delicious. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have some Italian sausage. I put some olive oil, a couple tablespoons in my pan here, and I'm going to fry up this Italian sausage with some diced onion. When that's brown, I'm going to put it on my paper towel over here and let it soak up all that grease, and then we'll go on to step 2. Next, I diced up some carrots and some celery, probably about 1 stalk of celery, 3 carrots, whatever you like best. I put a little more olive oil in my skillet here, and I'm going to fry these until they're tender. Oh, it smells fabulous. And to that, I'm going to add 1½ teaspoons of Italian seasoning, salt to taste, and I forgot my spoon, but I'm going to add a teaspoon of garlic. So I put my carrots and my celery and my Italian sausage in the crock pot here. And I'm going to add 1 can of diced tomatoes. And 1 can of tomato sauce. And these are 15-ounce cans. Four cups of chicken broth. This is my leftover chicken broth that I had from green beans. I'm going to mix that up good. And cheese tortellini, any kind that you like. You can even use the hamburger tortellini. I really like the cheese. Now those are going to swell up and take a whole lot of your liquid. So what I do is I'm going to plug this in the morning, let it cook, and I will add additional chicken broth as I need to keep it from going dry on me. So tonight my husband and I are going to have leftovers. We still have some of the Amish hamburger and potato casserole that I made yesterday, and I still have a little bit of corn casserole, so we'll have leftovers tonight. I will plug in this tomorrow when I'm back to work, let it cook all day. We'll have that and grilled cheese sandwiches, probably, maybe a salad and soup for tomorrow evening. Even though it's cold and bitter outside, I'm already thinking about spring planting. And I also sell my plants on my stand. So I need double what anyone else would probably do in their garden. I need some for me, some for my friends and neighbors and patrons. So I'm thinking of ways to get ready for that, and I'll start planting probably the last week of February. So I have been saving tons tons of milk cartons. So, in the spirit of every bit counts, we're going to work on those today. And what we're going to do is come up with a contraption like this. And let me show you how it works. Come down here. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my glasses on so I don't cut my fingers. And right below the handle here, I'm just going to give it a little snip. Actually, I'm going to use my knife. There we go. And that got me started. And I'll take my scissors and just cut all the way around. What I like about the milk cartons is that they're nice and deep. So you can put quite a few plants in there as seedlings and then thin them out as they get bigger. And they don't crowd each other out as bad. And I'm just going to trim that up a little here. So there's my bottom. My top, I want to leave the cap in because I do not want to lose any soil or water through there. But I'm going to trim this off just a little bit, maybe 1.5 inches, all the way around. But I want to leave the handle here in place. Then I'm going to take my knife and I'm just going to cut some slits all the way around. This isn't a job for kids, so be careful. And then I'm just going to leave it like that. So when I plant, I'm going to put my dirt in here, my plants in here, I'll water in here, and then when I water, it'll go through the slits in my milk carton here. I can lift it up by the handle, dump my water, and there I go. Also, too, when it comes time to transplant, I'll have this container that I can use for transplants as well, so it's double duty. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more to work on. But these will be ready, and I know I'll be excited at the end of February.